And good evening. This is Matt Waldman with the RSP Film Room. It's 1 in the morning here at in in, a, in an undisclosed location north of Atlanta, Georgia, in the RSP Film Room. I'm Matt Waldman, and I'm here with my friend Ryan Riddle, who is the you know one of the excellent writers about football. Bleacher Report does a little work with football guys. Former defensive end, outside linebacker extraordinaire, good friend of mine. Welcome, Ryan. It's good to have you on the show again.
Thank you, Matt. And here we are, late night, doing what we do best, right?
Absolutely.
Having a good
Absolutely.
time.
Having a good time. And we're going to have a good time watching Denzel Perryman, who is the University of Miami middle linebacker. Um, in case there one or two of you got so excited to watch the show at 1:18 in the morning, or 12 o'clock, earlier on, we had a viewing of him against Louisville, but due to some technical issues, more on just figuring out how to best use Hangout with watching film, we decided that we made this a practice run, and also there were enough inconclusive bits with Perriman that we felt like maybe it would be good to watch him again. So we're going to do this tape again, and we're going to watch him against Nebraska. But Ryan, just for those of our viewers here who may not know much about Perriman, we still have more to see about him too. But give some of your impressions of what you saw from him against Louisville and what you hope to see from him against Nebraska.
All right, so in the first game, our first exposure to him, what we did see was a guy who's extremely aggressive, undeniable aggression, almost to a fault at times. And what we want to see now is this guy the complete package where he can diagnose, read, react, see things that are on the field, have the instincts to sort of pair with that aggression to where he's more of the complete linebacker. He's a bit short, he's stout, he's dense. He's got good length in the arms. He's missed some tackles. He's made some bad plays, but he's also a guy who's going to get behind the behind enemy lines, make plays, make tackles. Very aggressive, passionate player. His coverage seems to be something that he's trying to get familiar with and learn and improve upon. His his uh, his his game against the run is that of a guy who he doesn't hesitate at all. He just is going full speed, pedal to the metal at all times. But then in the passing game, he seems like he gets lost in no man's land. He's a step behind. He waits too long to jump on routes that are obviously in his territory that he needs to be closer at. He's uh, he's more of a guy who's going to make a tackle after a catch versus a guy who's going to have the anticipation to break it up beforehand. So we'd like to see a little bit more of that. We'd like to see him maybe running with a running back. It seems like they were very blitz the A gap heavy with Perriman. Maybe that's them taking advantage of his strengths and hiding his weaknesses. This game might unveil some of that for us, and we'll be excited to see what happens with that.
Absolutely. So we're going to get to the tape here, and for those of you who are new to this show, this is really, something that we're doing for our own benefit, to watch film with each other and to learn from one another, as well as it's an opportunity for someone to just kind of look over our shoulders and see this process. And this process is really about looking. We want to share this tape, so it's going to be, because it's on Google Hangout, we found that having it at a slow speed is probably the best. So it's going to be, fairly slow, slow moving game, so that we can see everything and watch everything being broken down. And it's something that we both do oftentimes when we're studying tape separately. And then on top of it too, if there's something that we want to rewind or freeze and talk about a point for a little bit, that's what's going to happen here. So it's not going to be, the most polished type of show when you're talking about broadcasting. Here there's going to be dead air and that type of thing. But again, what we've seen is, with this type of show so far, you get a good opportunity to learn and see what people are studying and how often they look at a play to kind of gather what they see. And that's kind of what this experience is about. So we're going to get this going right now, and I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna get this set up, and it looks like we've got it on the screen here. Ryan, can you see it well?
Yep, we
Okay.
can, and a lot. And I just want to throw in that a lot can happen in every frame. So even though it's going to be slow motion, there's a lot to look at and observe. And rather than playing something over and over again in full speed, maybe 5 or 6 times, one maybe 2 times in slow motion, you can get a lot out of it. So I think it's a good speed for observation. So
I
let's see.
think I think it's a fantastic point too, because you want to, especially with linebacker play, or a lot of different positions that are not just the skill positions. um, you are you really do want to see certain things in its entirety to get the context of the play. I mean, I think with really any player that becomes the case, but especially with a linebacker who is not just playing the ball, but looking at the situations here. So here we go. We're going to get this rolling, and let's see if we can. There we go. So Perriman is number 52. Got him circled here with the crease, and then that's outlining the box finally. And we got looks like could be either a pass situation or a zone read type of play. And we've got that zone read with kind of a
Yep.
wind back, and it's a fake,
Oh,
and it's tipped. All right. So we watched the other game, and I got to say, I'm kind of impressed with 34. This is a guy that that I also want to watch a little bit more after watching Perriman at Louisville was number 34, the other linebacker here. I got to figure out his name.
interesting. I like when that happens, when someone else catches your eye while you're watching another guy.
Yeah,
Okay, he extends his arms, sheds, but he's not hustling to this. He's just
no,
he's conceding that this play is for somebody else.
yeah, and when we see this, I mean, this is clearly getting up to the second level, and he's looking inside and accounting for that inside gap. And then this is a bounce out right here. And it's a nice bounce out by Abdullah, who's a back I really like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he sheds, but not a lot of urgency. Yeah, I really like this Abdullah kid. I think he's a very smart football player.
Okay, so this will be a good test for him.
Yes.
Perriman versus Abdullah.
Yeah, there we go.
So he's the middle linebacker, top of the screen. And he's still looking. He's still looking.
Yeah. Now,
And
how much urgency outside here are we going to get? Eh, kind of trails the play, but he also sees his teammate shoot up there. He's not going to. I don't know whether we'll make an excuse for him or not. We'll see more, a little bit more here in a minute. All right, another read option here. And
I
this
can,
time,
yeah, he's got quarterback responsibility in there.
yeah, no,
And then it's just a chase.
yep. All right, so
They're playing this game completely different than they played the Louisville game in terms of how they're using these two inside linebackers so far.
yeah, talk about that a little bit because we definitely saw something.
And that's specifically why I chose Louisville. When you asked me which game between Nebraska and Louisville, I chose Louisville because I felt like Louisville had the more pro-style offense, even though what's that these days? But this is going to be a lot of read option and stuff, and the demand on the linebacker in that sort of a system is completely different.
Yeah.
It's a very specific assignment-based game plan that every play somebody's going to have the quarterback, somebody's going to have the running back,
So what
and
did we see in contrast in Louisville that
in Louisville it was we are going to take advantage of Perriman's aggressiveness and we are just going to send him flying into the A gaps. We're going to send him flying upfield. We're going to use his aggression to our favor, and that was a smart thing to do. You know, when a player has a strength, you want to use it.
yeah.
And I'm not to say that they can't do that here, but he seems to be reading a lot more and just sort of waiting for the play to develop, which was not happening in Louisville.
Yeah.
And these blockers get to the second level. Seeing two guys come in for those linebackers.
Yeah. He did a nice job splitting those guys, but
Yeah, which we've seen before too.
yes, he is patient as a run defender and has a really good balance there. It's like the equivalent of a running back who understands when to stay inside, when to go outside, and how to time his burst. When to time the burst in the hole, and I think that he does the same thing as a linebacker.
So here he gets swallowed up by 68, a big guy, and this is going to be a thing. And against Louisville again, here we are referencing that the fullback in that game, number 46, did a really good job on a bunch of plays, dominating Perryman at times. 68 here keeps him away from the running back.
Yeah, after a double team,
Yeah,
comes up
yeah.
and gets a nice punch inside, gets inside, and he tries to shed him aside. I mean, Perriman tries to shed 68 aside with that outside arm, and does manage to throw him aside a little bit here, but it's late in the play, and
And he just hasn't so far in this game. Very early on, still he has not shown the aggression that he did in Louisville, which could be a game plan issue. That they're keeping him slow playing everything with these read options. Seems like this defense is already on its toes. Do you know who won this game?
I do not.
There's 34 for you, making a
Yeah,
really nice tackle.
yeah. What's this dude's name? I'm gonna have Miami guys asking me all the time now. Like, that's it on Twitter. I'll
All right,
find it
so
out.
Perriman's on the top. He's a little deeper as the middle linebacker. Here he's gonna meet. I like the way he's closing down on that, but at the same time, he can't get completely. That's a tricky. See, gosh, this offense.
Yeah, what's
it
tricky about
causes
this?
so many. It causes so many problems for the defense because he has a lane inside that he has to close down, but at the same time, I don't know what his responsibility is if he has the quarterback that he messed up. He can't go inside that blocker. I'm willing to wager that maybe that strong safety's playing quarterback. And if that's the case, then I don't think he did a bad job doing what he did, closing that gap off.
Okay. Is the depth of this safety any indication to you, or is it more that he's just looking into the backfield? Because when I look at the depth, I'd go, if he has the quarterback, it seems kind of far, but at the same time, if he's too far up, then maybe that also means that he might lose the angle on the quarterback and give up a huge play. So,
I think that there's enough time for a safety that deep to play quarterback, and it also allows him to diagnose. Um, but yeah, you know what? In this case, you want him to be closer to the line of scrimmage by the time the quarterback declares that he's the runner.
Right. And this play was a turnover, and it looks like, I don't know if that was 34 again, but let's take a look. Yes, it was. 34 knocks the ball loose. This is going to be the RSP Film Room on Denzel Perryman and number 34.
Yeah, we'll watch 34 out of the corner of our eye from
That's
there on.
right. He's growing on us.
All right, so I think what we got here, we got trips to the bottom. The question is, does Perryman have the inside receiver? It doesn't look like it. Looks like these linebackers are exclusively buying in and responsible for potential read option in the running game.
Makes sense. Makes sense for sure. And it looks like he had the quarterback on that play. There's Abdullah sliding inside, getting low.
Wow.
I really like that play.
Yeah, he turned nothing into something. And then look at the leg drive there to just keep pushing for that extra yardage.
Yeah, let's watch that again. That's just too pretty to ignore. Sorry.
No, so yeah, this is a good example. What we're going to watch here with the running back is we're going to see what sort of challenge lay before Denzel Perryman today.
Yeah.
Against Nebraska. This is his enemy.
Yeah, and watch him drop his hips like this to get down, change direction, and then just stay low.
Bulldoze it. Da, 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 da.
I love that.
And even now, legs still going. Legs still going.
Love that. Love that. I could watch that play 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that was quite a run.
Yeah. To me, I get more excited about runs like that than breakaways.
Right?
Yeah.
Smart, tough runner.
Yeah. And he obviously had the back on that side. And then
go back. I kind of
maybe not. Okay.
No, I just.
Yeah.
After he takes on the blocker, he vanishes from me really quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Takes on the blocker.
Abdullah.
Runner's inside, and he's lost.
Yeah.
He's keying blockers and is less focused on who has the ball because he doesn't know who has the ball. He actually got confused.
Interesting. That's the one thing that we kind of suspected a little bit after the first game, but you never want to draw a full conclusion. He doesn't seem like a really savvy player. There's some things he's instinctively very good at. Yeah. And here's some more of Mr. Ameer here.
Oh my gosh, this running back. He looks great in slow motion.
I know.
You can see every effort. Look at that stiff arm against the number 1. And this is a good shed by Perryman.
Yeah.
He just should not have been shedding that deep. That means that he just stood there because he didn't know what to do. And then he's getting blocked 4 or 5 yards deep into the.
Yeah, watch this because this is the wing back coming through.
Yeah.
And he gets hit first. He's allowing to get punched.
Which is a mistake, but the way he got rid of that guy was a positive.
Good.
And the way he doesn't make that tackle is a negative.
Yeah.
And the way number 8 is just beasting through this defense is very lovely.
Yeah, I love this guy. He is. I honestly think he was one of the first people I wrote about this season. Actually, he was the first guy I wrote about this season in Football Outsiders in my Futures column. And I think in this strong RB class, I know that he's not overlooked, but I think that he could end up being one of those guys that may have 3 to 5 backs drafted ahead of him. It
Hmm.
could potentially that happen, and if that happens, I think it's going to be a mistake.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. I like what I see so far.
yeah.
Okay, so he's taking on another block. 78 gets a good push on him, but he doesn't allow himself, in this game at least, to get uh, devoured by a blocker for too long. It did happen a little bit once. I get 68 in the first quarter. Happened like a couple of times against the fullback in Louisville, and he seems to be somewhat thrown off by the makeup of this offensive scheme, which is becoming commonplace in college football landscape. So he should have some ability to recognize everything that he's seeing because nothing is that spectacularly new.
And here's another. We saw a cut block from a line
Right.
on an outside run like this against Louisville, and he didn't handle it all that well. And here we go again. Now he gets a punch and a push, and he
He
does stay
stayed
up
on
there.
his feet. Yeah, and that's kind of more what they want to see when you take on a cut block.
Yeah,
But then he overruns the ball,
yeah. And number 34 has to make the
and
tackle.
he just, you know what? He looks like a totally different player in this game. He looks lost. Like the weakness that we thought was being covered up
Yeah,
in the Louisville game, it's now like, which game came first? I'm wondering.
yeah, right. It's like more of glaring. It's even more glaring, and so much so that it's a little scary.
He look at see his body like see there's like a he's like trying to figure this out. Okay, I got to get myself together.
Yeah,
I'm
it's like
overrunning this play. I'm missing tackles here. Like, these guys are coming at. I got uncovered blockers coming at me 5 yards before
yeah.
I even know what play it is.
By the time I turn around and look and figure out what happened, I'm getting punched in the mouth. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Here he is, trying to diagnose, trying to diagnose. He says, "I see it. I'm gonna go get it." And he over focused on the blocker and he stopped paying attention to Abdullah, who
Who,
smartly found a tight little space to
yeah,
get
that
that first
had
down.
that little press inside out.
But this is a huge gap. Like the separation between the the two green guys, the two green pants,
Yeah,
between where Perriman's the middleman. There's a lot of room there, so
yeah,
he had a lot to cover. But don't shoulder into a blocker there. Don't shoulder into a blocker there.
yeah,
Keep your
like
hands free.
yeah,
This is a situation where you gotta have your hands. You use your hands here, not your shoulder.
yeah. Look at him. I mean, he's trying to throw the forearm and shoulder into this guy.
Yeah, well,
That's a
that's giving
great
up
point.
on the tackle. It's giving up on the tackle and conceding to just man for a man.
That's thank you for making that point because that's great. I mean, I want that's one of the things I wonder is like he's too aggressive with like hitting in a situation where he should just be kind of being more selective about using his
I'd
body.
like to I'd like to say that to me was not aggression. To me, that was
Poor technique,
hesitation.
hesitation. Okay.
Hesitation. Yeah, it was poor technique. It absolutely was poor technique in taking on a blocker, but it was a guy who didn't know how to assess that situation that he was faced. He was faced with a dilemma, and it was a dilemma that his defense put him in. But a good linebacker is going to be the one to make that tackle. A really good linebacker, I should say. I'm going to call. Clearly, Perriman is a good linebacker, but how good is he? We got to find this out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
No,
it
it's a
continued.
great point. It's a great point. Here's Abdullah again, slipping through the line a little bit and turning nothing into about a almost a 4 yard gain.
I've
Slithery.
never seen such a small guy have such power or such. He's a tough little runner, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
All right. waiting has bad posture, and here the blockers are already on him before he even can make a decision, and they're just look at it. They got two
Yeah,
guys ready to shove him out of the way. It's like they know we got to put a hat on Perriman. There's a priority there in their scheming. We want hat on Perriman at all times. And Perriman is still trying to figure out what's coming at him. By the time he does, there's a blocker in his face 5 yards deep.
yeah. This is one where he sees it, but then there's a little stutter step.
Okay, now we get athleticism. How athletic is he? Can he catch him? He closes quick, and that's a plus that he has to his game. He can cover ground quickly. And
Yeah.
we saw that. We saw that last game. We both seem to agree with that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Once he's very good at when he has a downhill opportunity, he knows when the time is burst and the burst is good. And in this case, there's a little bit of a punch. He has some contact with this
Mm-hmm.
cornerback, but I think Perriman gets him regardless anyway. And so
Mm-hmm.
does number 71 here. So
This is the first real time in this game that he's made a decent tackle on Abdullah.
yeah.
And where are we at? Almost midway into the second quarter. He had a much better game last against Louisville.
Yeah, and it wasn't a great game, which is
No, it was a
like an up and
spotty,
down game. Yeah. Spotty.
spotty. Yeah.
And once again, he's attacking with the shoulder. Way nice balance. I can't help it. Your eyes just start to see. Watch him. We're gonna watch him come in, and then we'll look at Abdullah a little bit more here. But
I love it.
I
I
do,
love it.
man. I'm telling you. So number 52. We see him kind of try and come in. It looks like he'd have an opportunity maybe to come inside or get to the inside shoulder of this lineman. And it's just like, let me just bust this up.
What told him to do that?
Right.
That's what I want to know.
I don't know either.
What made him think that that was the best thing to do there?
Yeah. And
That's trading a hat for a hat, and I kept getting taught from the middle linebacker, and just defensively, you don't want to trade your defensive players for blockers. You just don't.
yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. And he's just loading up again. He looks like he's pass protecting more than he's like actually like, I mean, I'm being sarcastic, but that's the case. And here he is being able to, and then we got Abdullah over here who's like gets clipped in the foot in the backfield, keeps his balance, is able to slips his cut, gets hit in the chops, and still manages to get 8 or almost 9 yards on the play.
Oh man, he just does those little extra things to finish a run, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah. And he's versatile. This is a player that he can catch, he can block, he can throw the football.
Here's some downhill mentality of Perriman right here. But also, we're seeing some limitations in his size when he wants to just go bowling into these NFL-sized offensive linemen.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some definite concerns building if this continues along this trend.
It's a downward trend.
Yeah, it is.
I want to like him though. I got to eliminate my bias, don't I?
No, well, I mean,
that is part of scouting.
I want to I know, but I'm right with you. I want to like him too. As we talked about earlier in the first program, I went to Miami for a couple of years. I like the Hurricanes.
Oh, there's a decent tackle.
Yeah. So here we go. We got a 2nd and goal. We're going to have looks like a strong side trips at the bottom. and Abdullah on the weak side flanking the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yep. And looks like we're gonna have a little bit of more read option, maybe to the
And we're gonna
inside.
have wait,
No.
pause it,
Yeah.
pause it. Okay, never mind. All right, pass. Finally, a pass.
Yep. And it looks like he's going
Is this
towards
the
the running
first
back.
pass?
No, where's he going? We got him coming up there to blitz. It looks like they have him blitz into the outside.
Yeah.
Nice hit from number 1 there. Yeah.
Yeah, cleaned his clock.
Yeah, that was fun. Let's watch that again. There we go. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of players I kind of enjoy watching here in the UM defense. I'm just, unfortunately, thus far, Perryman isn't consistently one of them yet.
That's definitely a fair assessment at this point.
Yeah, so now we have another set that could be pass or run with the 1x2. And it looks like it looked like he was looking at the running back earlier, then went to the quarterback, now back to the running back. Watch this. Tell me at the start of this play who you think Perriman's looking at.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out myself. I was concerned with who he's looking at, which is part of my overall question in my head. Is I'm wondering what his assignment is by looking at the whole defense, what everyone's doing. I'm kind of looking, are they playing man down there? And it looks like we got man. Looks like we got a man situation here. And Perriman is manless.
Yeah.
Which is a normal thing for the middle linebacker to be in this.
Yeah. Because he's kind of like a rover in a sense,
Right. Exactly.
And is he spying the quarterback? Does he have the running back to the flat? And then he comes up.
No, he doesn't have the running back.
Yeah.
And if he does, how come he's just now? This is his first time he's glancing at the running back.
Yeah. But see, I thought I saw him glance at the very beginning of this play, which is what kind of concerned me. Let me freeze it to the point where I think he glances. Like right
when
here.
the quarterback.
What's that?
Running back runs, and Perriman does not. The running back goes out into the flats, and he doesn't look at him yet.
No.
He doesn't look at him yet until the throw.
Right there.
Now he's gonna look. Right at the throw. I don't know what his assignment is. Maybe he's got the whole responsibility, or mirroring the run or the quarterback. Mirror quarterback or whole.
Okay.
Whole player. And the hole is very shallow. It's like no deeper than 8 yards at maximum. It's basically exactly where he's standing right now is what the whole responsibility covers. Okay, some more read option. And one-on-one, open field.
Makes him whiff.
Gosh, he's not having a good game at all. And you know what's crazy about this? The Louisville game, we wanted to see more Perriman in a passing situation in coverage. Because we saw like maybe there's a weakness there, or at least something that's completely unspectacular about his game at best. And here, Nebraska is just running almost every single play, and he's still not having a good game.
No, And he reads this well. I mean, there's some misdirection with two pulling guards going in the opposite direction. He
Yeah.
doesn't buy it at all. He diagnoses the play correctly, but Abdullah just fakes him out of his shoes right here.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That was a great one-on-one situation right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this kid. Just can't get enough of watching this guy play. All right.
So I've already got 2 missed tackles and 2 plus tackles. In other words, plus tackle being he made a good play and made a tackle, and he's made 2 missed tackles. So he's kind of like right there neutral,
Yeah.
just in terms of tackling consistency. And that's not good. Neutral, not good.
And this is another play where this is a play I haven't seen where he's done this before, but other than that pass play in the red zone. But watch him account for a gap, but in a way that I'm reading this and thinking, is Abdullah really going to cut back and reverse field here? Like, he sees 56 coming through the hole.
Yeah.
Then he comes in. It's almost like he's a magnet for contact with big guys. Like, I mean, I'm joking, but
No,
they
you're
come
not.
in there and he sees a challenge. He's like, I see red. I'm bull. I must hit man rather than let me pursue the ball carry, because he dips in there and there's no way he's already entering this hole when he makes that dip.
Yeah.
And
And
now
he's
he's
got
got
2 guys trailing behind him that are overlapping him. 71, this big, burly defensive lineman is like, get out of my way, Perriman.
yeah,
That's not a good sign.
no. And normally we've seen, this is the first time I've seen him do that other than just on a pure run play like that.
Good that you pointed. That was excellent pointing that out.
Well, good.
But also not good pointing it out for Perriman lovers.
Yeah.
Okay, dipping in. Look, it's
Did
his
it
thing.
again. Yeah.
That's his thing. Like, it's like a juke maybe that he gets caught up in.
Yeah. I don't know what he was, because I have no idea what he's thinking here. I mean, does he think he's going to be able to come through the backside and run the guy down? I mean, like, if he thinks right there, somehow he's going to shoot this gap and come through and sees that open lane and meet him like at the line of scrimmage here, I get that. But try to do it
Oh,
at least. If you're gonna dip, try to do it. But instead, he's like, oh, maybe not. Let me slide back outside, give up position, and now I'm blocked by number 56.
yeah, who's taking me to the 20?
Yeah,
He's at the 20-yard line,
yeah,
and he still can't get rid of this blocker. That guy's on him until the whistle.
yeah.
God, I'm giving these Nebraska blockers a lot of credit. They're relentless.
Yes, they are.
They're like little flies that you can't swat away.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Sideline to sideline with a reverse.
And he gave up. He gave up. Watch his body language right
Yeah,
here. Watch him
yeah.
just look up.
He's like, man,
Yeah,
that's not my problem.
that's right. It's everybody's problem when you start getting paid. But yeah.
Huh.
Now we've got Abdullah
He-
playing
he-
quarterback.
I want to see. I want to see him sort of step it up, like show a sign that he wants to take his game to the next level.
Yeah. And we're not seeing it. Watch again. This is one of those plays where I almost get the impression he's like, this worked for me in high school. Like, watch him hit the lineman, try to knock the lineman into Abdullah in the hole here. Here
Okay.
comes the pulling guard. Let me load up and try and punch him so that he knocks into Abdullah.
Yeah. Wrong shoulder. Wrong shoulder.
And Abdullah ends up with a 3-yard gain on 3rd and 3, or a 5-yard gain on 3rd and 3.
Gosh. Why he how it's very basic middle linebacker technique not to use that inside shoulder right there on the blocker. Not the outside shoulder, sorry. He uses
Yeah.
outside shoulder.
Another time he's knocked backward by the tight end or wing back. Is there a difference between, as a linebacker, how you approach a gap style play as opposed to like a zone play?
Zone is more constantly bouncing, like I was telling you about.
Right.
Everyone hit the inside shoulder. Everyone hit the inside shoulder. Um, the other thing, like a power run, is more downhill by both the offense and the defense.
So
But
you kind of know that where the gap's going to head, and it's like getting there and making the play.
the gaps are definitely more defined. That's one of the benefits of a stretch or a zone, is that it causes fissures to develop, and the longer you stretch that out, the more like compromises in the defensive system develop.
Gotcha.
And people's assignments, it's hard. It starts blurring. They start. It's hard to know where that B gap and A gap and C gap is as it starts moving closer and closer to the sideline.
I got a basic option pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Nice cut inside. Nice balance.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
Little stutter. Can he get it to the outside? No. Yeah.
What the heck
Yes.
did he even? Oh my.
Let's watch that again. That was too much fun. Even though he only gains a yard.
Have to watch it again.
Yeah. Today's RSP breakdown is Denzel Perryman being overshadowed by Ameer Abdullah. He's dead to rights right here. Nice cut.
How in the heck? Look at this. Look, pause it. Pause it. Pause it.
I'll back it up. Okay, here we go. Tell me when to pause it again.
Right at the pitch catch. Okay.
Oh, at the
Right
pitch
when he
catch?
catches the pitch.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
called. This is that hip movement. Watch the hips. Look at how low he gets there.
Yeah. Look at that.
He's
Look at that. Now, also, look at how these guys from Miami unblocked coming right at the perfect position to make this a 5, 6, 3, 2. This has to be
a loss.
a tackle for a loss.
Yeah, you've got 2 unblocked guys here in the flat up the hash. You have number 34, who's normally been doing a pretty good job of making a tackle, right on top of Abdullah, who's just cut downhill. Abdullah sees this and makes a second cut, gets wrapped at the helmet or the shoulder here,
Oh man!
has the balance to shed him while changing direction to reverse his field, and still has 2 guys over top. So now he's reversing his field. outruns 52 Perriman. Has two more guys coming over top here. Now, this is where he probably screws it up. Like, he probably should keep running, but then again, big old 91 is kind of blocking out the sun here, so he thinks
No, okay, yeah.
he's like, I'm fast enough to cut around here. Gets wrapped, but still has the balance to break that wrap enough. If it wasn't for
Look
getting
at that! Oh my gosh!
if it wasn't for getting hit head on, he'd still be running.
Yeah, it's
That was
amazing.
like
That
a
is
Walter
amazing.
Payton, one of those Walter Payton runs for like a small loss. Remember that Walter Payton run against the Chiefs that they
Yeah,
always show, where he breaks like 20 tackles and then gains a yard or something. That was like a minor version of that, but still very impressive.
yeah. No. Oh my gosh, that says a lot. And you know what? That wasn't an isolated moment. That wasn't an anomaly. That's how this guy is. He's already developing that pattern.
Yeah,
But he's winning the battle between he and Perriman,
yeah. And once again, Perriman's kind of
who's
lost.
now almost at. Yeah, he almost got pushed back to the goal line. The only way that he was able to prevent getting pushed into the end zone is by running around the entire action.
I think it's probably appropriate that Nebraska is red and white because most milk cartons I used to see growing up were red and white, and they're putting his picture on the back of a milk carton right now.
That's nicely done.
It's kind of scary. Either blue and white or red or
Is
white.
this an indictment on Perriman, or are we seeing something impressive from Nebraska?
I think it's a little bit of both because Nebraska's run offense and their offensive line is pretty darn good. But I would say the decision making we've seen in 2 games with Perriman hasn't been consistently good. It's been either good or terrible, and I think that this is there's still enough to indict Perriman a little bit for his decision making because a lot of it's been kind of puzzling.
Yeah.
Here he is.
I,
This time he gets the inside or the outside shoulder and gets outside.
but if we go back, let's just look and see where he starts out before the snap.
Yep.
And then let's see where he is. Okay, he's right there at the hash on the 30-yard line. Now let's see where contact from a blocker happens.
Here comes the tackle here, or the guard.
He has advanced 1 yard before contact.
Yeah. And to the inside and has to take
Meanwhile,
a step outside.
yeah. Meanwhile, the big blocker got 4 or 5 yards on him.
Yeah.
That's just not reacting fast enough to what's happening. That's what that is. He's not reading his cues.
No.
An ineligible man is running down the field at you, you don't stand there and let him come to you. You already should know this is a run. I need to get to that ball, and I need to get there in a hurry, and I need to be hair on fire, all of that stuff that it seemed like I thought I was going to be. I was pretty certain that he was at least good at that in his game, and now I'm even having doubts about the aggression, and the aggressive nature, and the downhill mentality of Perriman. Even that's coming into doubt here.
And then they're trying to throw Abdullah to the ground, and he still won't go on the ground. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just having too much fun watching this in contrast.
Yeah.
If if I see this like in 3 more games from Abdullah, I'm getting me a jersey. I'm just telling you right now. Oh, there's a fumble. There we go. We got something bad from Abdullah for a change. There we go.
He
Bad
got it.
exchange, but he got it back. I'll be trading my Marshawn Lynch jersey when he retires, and I don't even have a Lynch jersey, but my T-shirt I got on this evening.
I'm a Abdullah believer, or at least growing into one.
Yeah, it's okay. So here we go with a little bit of a sprint right, throw,
Pass.
head up, got the hands up at least.
Yep.
There we go. All right.
Semi decent positive play.
Yeah.
But guess what? They got a first down.
So here we are again. It looks like a play ripe for this guard to come right through this gap if they're going to run, or this tight end who's going to filter in here. Let's see if that happens. Yep, here comes the guard, and he's just waiting,
He's just waiting and waiting. And how many? We've seen like 3 passes all game, and yet he still isn't sure what's coming at him. I know what's coming at him. The same thing that you knew what was coming at him.
Yeah.
68, Perriman. Come on.
But to his credit, it's actually the quarterback running to right end at this time, and he does have an angle.
The only thing that he needed to do better there, even though everything that you said is true, he has an angle. He read the play. He got it. He needs to meet that guard closer to the line of scrimmage. That's what he needs to do, and he's not doing that.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, so where's our man? Here he is to the outside of the tackle here on a read option. Now he sees that Abdullah has.
This is better. This is better where you want to meet at least halfway, right? Like,
Yeah.
so for every step that blocker comes at you, you come closer too, and then you shrink the holes. The holes shrink a little more, rather than him being 5 yards down the field getting blocked.
I also like that he had
Meet
his
that
hands
guy
up and out a little bit. Now,
Yeah.
when the
Right.
guard comes up, his hands reach Perriman's hand. They play a little mercy here, but he still gets his hands.
He's got
in his
inside.
chest. Yeah.
Yep.
Of course.
Extends.
Yeah.
Doesn't shed though. And look at the
Look at the
just not complete. The end result. It wasn't a complete. I mean, he did. It's like, okay, now you finally are going to meet him up at the proper position. You're going to extend your hands like you're supposed to, but you're not gonna even get much of a hand on the ball carrier.
Yeah, he didn't get a thing. Not a hand because his left arm was occupied. Abdullah gets the first down, and then basically gets almost another 20 yards.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, so
I like the way that these blockers are coming out and meeting these linebackers downfield. That's a good strategy. It's working. Don't get turned.
Yeah. 68 just has a homing device right on Perriman at this point.
And think about this: 68 is doing a lot of this blocking in space.
Yes.
And that's the very difficult thing for a big guy to do. He's doing a good job.
Yep.
Okay, can we start that one over?
You betcha. Because it looks like it's a read option fake here with a pass. And he works inside towards the back. And then a little slant. Or just his little look in.
Have you seen one play as to a possible window of greatness from Perriman in this game?
No, not remotely. Not remotely.
Right.
I've been wondering if I see one play where I would draft him on the first or second day.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he can make a team and develop eventually because he can tackle, and he shows a lot of things we saw in the Louisville game. But I'm based on his reputation precedes what we've seen on the field.
I mean, everything I've heard about him suggests that he is almost a guaranteed NFL starter, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing too.
That's the impression I've gotten. And so,
Here's
it's
58. Here's him coming
yeah.
into 56 to the inside shoulder and completely misses. But not, yeah.
And none of that aggression is translating against this offense.
No.
That was just the scheme of, like, they basically were telling him to hit those A gaps, be relentless, not think. Seemed like that was something that they had going into that game plan against Louisville.
And I see what you mean about being slow to really close the gap with holes, because this is another great example of that. He has, I think it's number 84 here, who's this wingback, fullback. He gets close, but and delivers a punch here, but he's slow to shed. He gets turned to the inside with that punch, and he's still getting driven a little bit, and he misses his tackle. He's not able to get there.
Yep. I mean, these are great blocks. Relentless blocking is happening.
Yeah.
And this is happening more so than it did last game, where I actually was giving him, I had a positive review of his ability to shed blockers.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm. Here this guy's coming out again to meet him and turn him. But luckily the ball carrier did not go into the alley that was being created. And that's not, well, that wasn't Abdullah, was it?
It was.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. 52 at the top on the end.
Nebraska's in this game, even though their defense has not been playing well. There's a good shed. Close it. Yeah, that's who was running that last time. 34. It wasn't Abdullah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was like, that was a nice lane that was developing, yet the running back actually took it inside instead of the lane. That was, I think, it's 34, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's 34 again. And Perriman
got a pass play, and it's breaking to the outside of him. But now we got a deeper route. Looks like more of a corner sail that fails.
This is why they don't pass.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to have Perriman in the middle here, and this Lex on the 35. Now they finally outline him. That's nice. And this looks set up to have some sort of read option look. Probably a jet sweep, fake
and
look jet sweep.
Mm-hmm.
And they fake it. He takes the steps outside. Now he has to contend with 71 on this quarterback keeper. And he's pretty much, he's jogging at this point.
And the game is slipping away.
Yeah. So
I'm not. I want to pull some positives about this guy's game, and I honestly I can't.
yeah, I mean, I think we were both saying that in the Louisville game, where I think, at the end of watching it, we were like, maybe he's just having a bad day. Maybe there's, maybe he's had a bad game, because sometimes that happens when you watch a prospect. Now, maybe these games were back to back and he's having a bad couple of weeks, but, you're starting to stretch it when you start to talk about, multiple games where you're not looking quite strong, and he's actually looking worse here than he did in the Louisville game, where he had some really strong plays, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. Decision making, instincts, power, shedding ability.
Yeah.
All of these things are now being questioned from
Yeah.
this game.
And here we got, looks like more of a nickel look against the pistol. We got both linebackers inside. Line slants to the right.
Yeah.
Can he avoid 56? Because 56 staggers, he does.
Yeah.
And doesn't get in there, but he's clogs the gap that was on the backside.
Decent.
Abdullah, 31 carries, 205 yards, and a touchdown. That was quite a game for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might have to watch this game. And he's not done
Yeah,
yet.
when we saw the way that this was going in the first quarter, and I was like, I wonder who wins this game. At that point, I would not have been surprised if you told me Nebraska put up at least 34 points on them, because everyone on that defense seems to be off balance by this offense.
Yeah.
And it's not an offense that's doing a whole lot with passing. It's just coming at you with.
Now, is it just me, Ryan? But have you seen 3 or 4 plays where Abdullah gets chopped at the legs and he nearly keeps his balance to keep his feet?
Oh yeah.
Falling over the back of the defender and comes within like maybe a foot or a few inches of like ended up not hitting the ground, like this one here. Puts the hand down and look how yeah.
Yeah. I don't like saying things like this what's about to come out of my mouth, because it just seems short-sighted, but his balance is some of the best examples of balance that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm seeing similar stuff, so it'll be worth watching. I mean, I was impressed with him before, but it's gonna be fun to see if we see a little bit more here. He rarely gets knocked backwards. He certainly extends gains after the first contact, or the second, or the third, or on that.
And he knows how to make people miss, and he does it efficiently where it doesn't waste a lot of time. Because if you spend too much time trying to make one guy miss, you're allowing the rest of the defense to close in on you. His moves and making people miss is one really quick and then he's making the right decisions as to which way to make that move.
Meanwhile, our
Find
friend
that
Perriman
little window.
on the backside here, watch him dip in again and go, "Ooh, maybe I don't want to dip in." This is
And the
just
play before this, Perriman was he just defended a gap that wasn't even being threatened.
yeah. See, this is him dipping into this backside gap, which makes sense because he could cut back here. There's a
Mm-hmm.
chance. So I see
Yeah,
that.
you don't want to run over the top here. It's too early.
Yeah.
He's got backside pursuit.
So he
He's
does
got
that.
cutback.
Okay. So that's a sound play. That was some discipline.
But on the play before that, it was the play it was to the strong side, and it was declared, and he just stayed on the backside of it, defending a gap,
Yeah.
even though the play had already declared on the other side of the center. Come on, make a good play, pair.
He's getting eaten by 56 right now. Abdullah breaks a
Get him off
tackle
of
at the
him.
line of scrimmage.
Don't let him in the end zone at least. Stop this massacre.
We'll watch it one
Oh,
more time for emphasis, and then we will conclude our session of Denzel Perryman, uh, who's co-starring
like,
in this film about him with the main star, Ameer Abdullah.
yeah, if this was a boxing match, we know who won.
Yeah,
Unanimous decision.
yeah. That was easy for, yeah, that was easy.
Gosh.
Yeah, dust off your number there. That's the way you do it.
All right, so that was a game that easily eliminates him from any first round potential for me. I just cannot justify Perriman as a first round draft pick.
What if he,
No way.
okay, so let me ask you this then. What if he has, you watch like 4 or 5 more games and he's just like lights out, you wonder, and you look at it and go, Louisville and Nebraska, you have, like, somebody must have died, he must have been sick, he had to have like, something was going on, he had some sort of issues, and you were like a scout in an interview where he was like, yeah, this and this happened, you're thinking he shouldn't have even been on the field, and then based on his tape in these other games, he's just lights out, unbelievable. What then?
Yeah, if he has like a really bad growing injury or something, that would help. That would make a little sense here because he's playing like a guy. Like, I didn't see anything. He didn't make any plays. He made, like, if you were counting plus or negative all the way through, it was like almost all negative.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
crazy. I mean, at least in the Louisville game, he had a little bit more positive than negative, and he showed me a lot of impressive potential. I liked his athletic ability. I liked his power. I liked most of his tackling. I liked his aggressive mentality. I didn't see any of that here. I didn't see anything. I saw a guy getting pushed around, beaten up. I didn't see passion. I didn't see aggression. I didn't see anything that was worthy of even a good college football player. He wasn't even a good college football player in that game.
Yeah, yeah. So my take on this is, after seeing the Louisville game, my first thought is, we certainly see what he can be when he's decisive, and he shows some savvy and nuance as a run defender in certain situations. He shows some pop as a blitzer, and he can close fast enough on the ball to deliver with a little bit of power. He tends to hang on to the man pretty well, but between his pass protection, between his slow reactions against Nebraska, I look at this and think uh, I need to watch more of this guy because if any of unless he looks direct, the polar opposite of what we've seen. If he looks the polar opposite of what we've seen, then I'm going to suspect something's going on with him, injury or other or off field. Or if he's the same as what we've seen from the Louisville game, then I'd say, like you mentioned very well, is that he could be used. He certainly would fit like a Kiko Alonso, where he's an attacking type of linebacker, and he could fit well in a system and do a good job. Or if he's like this Nebraska game on a consistent basis against teams that aren't just running read option on almost every play, then yeah, somebody's going to get a bad deal if they draft this guy. So there's still a lot
Yeah, I
of
think
unanswered questions, I think, maybe. I don't know.
it seems to me that the variable there between one game to the next is when you ask him to sit there and diagnose the play, he becomes very mortal and very average. When you ask him to stop thinking and just go downhill and get it, you're going to get a very good player who knows how to make plays and makes the right decision most of the time for a guy who's going balls to the wall. He makes good decisions. For a guy who's reading and reacting and playing it slow, he makes bad decisions. And all of the things that are good about him seem to go out the window.
Yeah. So this was a really enlightening, eye-opening session, I think, for both of us about Denzel Perryman, even
Yeah.
though we might still have some confusion about what we're going to do here. But certainly, hopefully, you guys got as much out of it as we did. We're gonna hopefully if we have time, we're gonna do another one in a minute here and watch some more. And if not, Ryan will be back. Ryan's a great guest. It's fun having him on, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do this on a monthly basis at the very least. So for Ryan Riddle, I'm Matt Waldman, and we're out of here. We'll see you next week.